I'm Jim Chapman, I'm 35, I've lived on a farm all my life, and when I was 23, I lost my left arm. There was nothing unusual at all, it was just a very, very normal day, and then just like that it changed and it became probably the worst day of my life. Well, I was asked to go and work for a friend of mine, and the morning just didn't start right. It was a Friday morning. The first machine that he wanted me to use wouldn't start. It was too cold. So, with a little bit of frustration from himself, found me another piece of machinery to use, get on that, start using it. But that wouldn't operate correctly either. So he asked me to go and use a tractor and a vacuum tanker, both of which I've used before, not those particular machines, but I've used them, machines similar before. But the tractor itself was only a small 90 horsepower tractor, so nothing big. The tanker that I was using was old. It's probably older than I am. The PTO guard itself was in very bad condition. And like I say, looking back now, I wouldn't go anywhere near it. I'd say, not going anywhere near that bit of kit. But at the age of 23, you're asked to do something by somebody who's paying you money, who may be older, and so I just, took no notice and did it. Set it all running, went to the back of the machine, had a look in the hole. I was with there were two guys working with me, and so there's three of us looking in this hole, looking at this water, and it wasn't going anywhere, it wasn't emptying. So they asked if it was set right. So I went back to the front of the machine without turning anything off. And in the front of the tanker is the pump, and I knew whether the pump was sucking or blowing by putting my hand under the exhaust. And I remember doing that, and I definitely did it, and I put my hand under it, and I definitely remember thinking, yes, it's all set right. But as I was pulling away from it, my jumper got caught in the rotating PTO shaft. The pump was sort of on this end of it, and I think the exhaust was sort of on the opposite side of the PTO. So instead of walking round, I sort of leant over the PTO and put my hand under the exhaust to check whether the pump was running the right way. And of course, being leant over the shaft and a little bit of loose clothing, and it just, yeah, it didn't take much. It was like a little roll pin sticking out of the PTO shaft, and that's what actually caught hold of my jumper. And half a second, and it's pulled you all in, took you all, and spat you out. Yeah, on the other side, yeah, without an arm. And the pain is unreal. It was taking out all my armpit, so I knew the pain was quite bad. And so I just literally automatically reached round to almost put my hand over the pain, and you just knew straight away, because all I grabbed hold of was bone that was sticking out there. So I knew it was gone. As it was healing, when I was lying in hospital for that first week, it smelt like a dead sheep living next to me. And it was just the bits of flesh rotting away and stuff and sorting itself out, an infection and whatever else. But the smell was horrific, and I spent probably the first week just only looking over my right shoulder, and I never ever looked, because the smell was bad and I knew it looked bad, and I just wouldn't bring myself to get anywhere near it. You get this phantom pains of these fingers, and the fingers feel like they're in a vice constantly. And so for the first couple of years, it's very painful. It's subsided a bit now, but it was at the time very painful. So emotionally, to begin with, I was quite strong. I was really liking the attention from all my friends and family. And then as it drifted away and it became the norm, then oh, it's Jim, he's got one arm. It became quite normal. That attention sort of started to drift away, and I found myself probably by the March, I was probably quite depressed. I didn't feel like it at the time, but I had quite calm thoughts about going and getting the shotgun out of my dad's cabinet and going and ending it all up the field. But yeah, so life's moved on, and I've got married and do all the normal things that I would have perhaps done anyway. But I've recently started to have sort of flashbacks, not really bad, but I've started to, you know, remember perhaps more of the accident than I did to begin with, and it's quite, yeah, it makes me feel a little bit sick.